You're standing on the lot. The salesman is smiling. That brand new truck is marked down thousands, and he swears it's the deal of the decade. Stop. Before you sign anything, you need to hear where that truck really ranks. Because right now, in 2026, there are 10 new pickups sitting on dealer lots that almost nobody wants. Some are slow sellers, some are money pits, and the one sitting dead last is a truck everybody in America trusts blindly. I've spent more than 30 years under the hood, and I've watched these exact trucks roll back into my bay again and again. I'm not selling you a warranty. I'm not taking a kickback. I'm just telling you what I'd tell my own brother. The number one worst truck on this list comes straight from a recall that hit over 100,000 engines, and it's the last one you'd ever expect. I'm holding it for the end. And whether you're buying new, buying used, or already have one of these parked in your driveway right now, this ranking is going to matter to your wallet. Let me take you back for a second. A few winters ago, a fella came into my shop towing a truck that had less than 40,000 miles on it, barely broken in. That truck should have had a decade of life left. Instead, it was dead in the water, and the repair estimate had 4 figures on it before we even opened the hood. That was the day I started keeping this list in my head. So let's count it down. Starting at number 10, the Nissan Titan. Now, here's the thing that surprises folks. The Titan isn't a bad truck mechanically. The old 5.6-liter V8 is a solid, honest motor. So why is it rotting on lots? Because Nissan pulled the plug. They killed the Titan after the 2024 model year, and once buyers found out the truck had no future, the whole thing became a ghost. Here's what that means for your money. When a manufacturer discontinues a truck, the dealer network stops caring, parts get harder to find, resale value falls through the floor. I've seen Titans lose close to half their value in the first 3 years, and now that it's a dead model, that drop gets steeper. You might see one marked down $8,000 or $9,000 off sticker and think you hit the jackpot. But 3 years from now, when you go to trade it, that deal turns into the worst depreciation hit on the lot. So here's my straight advice. If you find a Titan dirt cheap and you plan to drive it into the ground for 15 years, fine. The engine can take it. But if you ever want to sell it, walk away. This one's a financial anchor tied to your ankle. But number 10 is just the warm-up. Because the next truck isn't dying from neglect. It's dying from a price nobody can stomach anymore. At number 9, the Jeep Gladiator. On paper, this thing is a dream. It's a Wrangler with a bed. Take the top off, fold the windshield down, go anywhere. And when it launched, people paid crazy money for them. That's the problem. That's exactly the problem. The Gladiator got so expensive that a loaded one cost $60,000. $60,000. For a mid-sized truck that rides rougher than a farm tractor and gets fuel economy that'll make you wince. So buyers backed off hard, and now these things are stacking up on lots, and dealers are slashing prices to move them. Here's what I see in the bay. The 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 is generally okay, but the Gladiator's got quirks that add up. Death wobble complaints on the solid front axle. Leaks around those removable tops that let water into places water should never go. And the ride quality means folks who bought one as a daily driver get tired of it fast, then dump it. I've watched Gladiators lose thousands in value the second they leave the lot. The practical takeaway, if you genuinely want a go-anywhere off-road toy and you buy one used after somebody else ate that first massive depreciation hit, the Gladiator can make sense. But buying one brand new at full price in 2026, you're paying luxury truck money for a vehicle that'll be worth mid-size money in a hurry. Now, here's where the stakes climb. Because the next 3 trucks all share the same disease, and it's costing buyers tens of thousands of dollars. Somebody profited by rushing these to market before they were ready. Let me show you. At number 8, the GMC Hummer EV. Now, I want you to sit with a number for a second. This truck weighs somewhere around 9,000 pounds. 9,000, that's heavier than some old delivery trucks. It's a monster. And GMC priced it like a mansion, well over $80,000, some trims pushing past $100,000, and the buyers came running at first chasing the hype. Then reality set in. That massive battery pack takes forever to charge on anything but the fastest chargers. The range drops off a cliff the second you tow anything or drive in the cold, and the depreciation, brutal. I've seen barely used Hummer EVs listed tens of thousands below what the first owner paid, sometimes $30,000 or $40,000 gone in a year or two. Here's the part that really gets me as a mechanic. That much weight destroys everything it touches. Tires wear out fast, and they're expensive, oversized units. The brakes and suspension components carry a load they were never really meant to. And when something electrical goes wrong on a truck this complex, you're not fixing it in a small town shop. You're waiting weeks for a dealer and a specialist. So the verdict on number 8 is simple. This is a science experiment on wheels. Impressive to look at, terrifying to own out of warranty. If you want to lose $40,000 in 2 years, this is the fastest way I know. But at least the Hummer sold in tiny numbers. The next one was supposed to be the future of the whole industry, and it's piling up faster than any of them. At number 7, the electric full-size pickups, and I'm looking straight at the Ford F-150 Lightning and the Chevrolet Silverado EV. These were supposed to change everything. Instead, they're stacking up on lots across the country, and the automakers have actually cut back building them because they can't move the ones they've already got. Let me tell you why real truck people aren't buying. A truck is a tool. You haul, you tow, you drive long distances, and the second you hook a trailer to one of these electric trucks, the range can get cut nearly in half. I've talked to guys who found out the hard way that a truck rated for 300 some miles suddenly can't make it 200 with a load. Now you're planning your whole day around charging stops that don't exist out where these trucks are supposed to work. And the money side is worse. The Lightning launched around $40,000 for a base work truck. Then the price climbed way up past $70,000 and $80,000 on the nicer ones. Now the resale is collapsing. Folks who paid top dollar are watching these trucks lose value faster than almost anything on four wheels. Battery replacement out of warranty is a number so big I've seen it scare people white, tens of thousands of dollars for a pack. So here's my honest read. For a suburban guy with a short commute, solar on the roof, and a garage charger, an electric truck can work as a commuter. But as an actual truck, for actual truck work in 2026, the market has spoken. Nobody wants them at these prices. And that tells you everything. Now, if you're already sweating because you own one of these, hang with me, because in just a minute, I'm going to give you something you can do this weekend to protect yourself. But first, the next truck costs even more to own, and it comes from a brand that promised it'd be different. At number 6, the Rivian R1T. I'll give Rivian credit. They built something genuinely cool. The truck is quick, it's clever, it's got storage tricks that make you smile, but cool doesn't pay the repair bill, and this is where the story turns dark. Here's what nobody at that fancy showroom tells you. Rivian is a young company with a thin service network. So when this truck needs work, and they do need work, you might be looking at a long tow to a faraway service center and a wait that stretches into weeks. I've heard from owners who waited a month or more for parts on a truck they paid $70,000, $80,000, even $90,000 for, and the little stuff adds up into big stuff fast. Insurance on these is eye-watering because repairs are so expensive. A minor fender bender can turn into a 5-figure repair because of how the truck is built and how few shops can touch it. The depreciation follows the same ugly pattern as the others. Big price, big drop. So the practical move here is patience and skepticism. If you must have one, let somebody else buy it new, eat the depreciation, and confirm the service network has grown up. Buying new right now means you're the beta tester paying full price. And I don't let my friends be beta testers with $90,000. But here's the truth I promised you. None of this happened by accident. Somebody made a fortune rushing half-baked trucks onto the market and letting you carry the risk. And now I'm going to name exactly how it works. At number 5, the Ram 1500 with the new Hurricane twin-turbo inline-6 and the e-torque mild hybrid setup. Ram made a big bet. They ditched the beloved old Hemi V8 for a smaller turbocharged 6-cylinder and slapped a bunch of electronics on it, all to chase fuel economy numbers on a government sheet. And this is where I stop being polite. Here's how the game is played. The manufacturers are under pressure to hit fuel economy and emissions targets. So instead of building the simple, stout engines that lasted 300,000 miles, they build tiny turbocharged motors stuffed with complexity to squeak past the rules. It looks good on the sticker. It looks good in the ad, and you find out the truth at 80,000 miles when the repair bill lands in your lap. That Hurricane engine makes big power. I won't deny it. But a twin-turbo 6 works harder and runs hotter than the old V8 ever did. More turbos, more plumbing, more sensors, more things to fail once that warranty is gone, and the e-torque hybrid system adds a whole extra layer of electrical parts to a truck that used to be dead simple. Longtime Ram buyers know it. That's part of why these are sitting on lots. People walk in wanting a Hemi and walk out with nothing. And I'll be straight with you about Ram's history in my bay. The old Ram transmissions and electronics gave me plenty of steady work over the years, and now they've added even more to go wrong. So my verdict at number 5 is caution. Let this engine prove itself over a couple 100,000 miles in the real world before you bet your money on it. Right now, it's an unknown, and unknowns are how you get burned. Therefore, the next question becomes obvious. If the smaller turbo engines are the trap, who did it first and worst? Let me show you at number 4. At number 4, the Ford F-150, and specifically the Power Boost Hybrid and the trucks paired with that 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, and plenty of them are fine. But certain versions are the reason folks are getting gun-shy, and dealers are sitting on inventory they can't move at the prices they're asking. Let's talk about that 10-speed automatic. Ford and General Motors actually developed it together, and it's been a headache in a lot of trucks. I've had them come into the bay with harsh shifting, clunking between gears, and shudder that owners swore was the driveline falling apart. Some get fixed with a software update. Some need real work inside the transmission, and that's a bill that can run into the thousands once you're out of warranty. Then there's the EcoBoost Turbo V6 family and the Power Boost Hybrid. Same story as the Ram. Turbochargers add heat and complexity. I've seen cam phaser problems, timing issues, and turbo-related repairs on these motors that a naturally aspirated V8 would have never given you. The hybrid version adds a battery and an electric motor into the mix, which is more to fix down the road. And here's the money part. A loaded F-150 now stickers well past $60,000 and $70,000. When you can't move $60,000 trucks, they rot. So the takeaway on number 4, if you want an F-150, and lots of good ones exist, be picky, know which engine and which transmission you're getting, get the service records, and do not pay a luxury car price for a work truck that might hand you a transmission bill down the line. Now, before I get to the top 3, this next part is for you. Yeah, you, the one who already owns one of these trucks and feels your stomach dropping right now, don't panic. I've got you. If you own any of these turbocharged or hybrid trucks, here's the single most important thing you can do, and it costs you almost nothing. Change your oil more often than the manual says, and use the exact oil weight the manufacturer specifies. I mean it. These little turbo engines run hot, and the oil is the only thing standing between your turbos and a $5,000 repair. The book might say 10,000 miles between changes. On a turbo truck that tows or sits in traffic, I cut that in half. Every 5,000 miles, fresh oil, right spec. That one habit has saved more engines in my bay than any fancy additive ever sold. Here's a second thing you can do this weekend. In your own driveway, for free, pop the hood and just look. Check for oil weeping around the turbos and the valve covers. Pull your dipstick and smell it, and look at the color. If it smells like gasoline or it's milky, you've got a problem forming, and catching it now saves you thousands. On the hybrids and EVs, listen for your cooling fans running hard when the truck is just sitting. That's the battery cooling system working overtime, and it can be an early warning. And one more, because I promised I'd treat you like family. Get yourself a cheap code reader, the kind that costs $20 or $30 and plugs in under the dash. Check it once a month. Plenty of these trucks throw a stored code long before the check engine light ever comes on. You catch it early, you fix it cheap, you wait for the light, and now it's a tow and a big bill. That little tool has paid for itself 100 times over for my customers. Look, those 3 checks tonight will catch trouble early, but wouldn't you rather never buy the trouble in the first place? That's exactly what I put into the complete lemon-proof bundle, the instant download version of everything I've learned in my bay. Inside, you get the reliability matrix that separates hype from hard data, the exact engines and transmissions to avoid by model year and family, and the engine family tree that shows you why one bad platform can spread across a dozen different models, like the small turbo trap we've been talking about all this long. You also get the checklist I use before I shake a hand, 6 go or no-go criteria built just for truck buyers, plus a full frame and rust audit protocol for trucks that live in the Salt Belt. And here's the proof. You can run for free tonight before you spend a dime with me. Everything I teach is built on documented repair data, so pull up the free public NHTSA complaint site, punch in one of the trucks I ranked, and read the pattern with your own eyes. You'll see the same defects lining up that I've been naming all along. The fastest way to get the books is to scan the QR code right there on your screen, or go to the link in the description or the pinned comment. And every day you drive without that knowledge, depreciation and repair bills are already running against you, so put the collection to work before your next purchase, not after. Now let's get to the top 3, because the last 3 trucks on this list are the ones dealers are the most desperate to move, okay? Now that I've taken care of the folks who already own one, let's get to the top 3. Because the last 3 trucks on this list are the ones dealers are the most desperate to move, and the number 1's going to shock you. At number 3, the Tesla Cybertruck. I know some of you love it, but I have to rank it honest, and honest is not kind here. This truck was hyped for years as the future, and now they're piling up on lots, and the resale value is falling off a cliff so steep it made national news. Let me give you the real picture from a wrench's point of view. That stainless steel body everybody bragged about, it's a nightmare to repair. It doesn't dent and pop back like normal steel, and matching a panel is a specialist job. There have been multiple recalls already, and this truck hasn't been out long. One recall was over an accelerator pedal that could get physically stuck. Think about that. A stuck accelerator on a truck that weighs as much as this thing does. There have been recalls and complaints about exterior trim literally coming unglued and flying off, about windshield wipers, about the drive system, and the money. People paid huge premiums to get one early, some flipping them for way over sticker. Now that the shine's worn off, values are collapsing, and the ones on lots aren't selling at the prices Tesla wants. Out of warranty, this is one of the most expensive, hardest to service trucks in America, because almost nobody outside the Tesla network can touch it. You are completely dependent on them for everything. So my verdict at number 3, this is a truck built to make headlines, not to haul lumber for 20 years. If you want to be a spectacle, buy it. If you want a truck that a normal shop can keep alive after the warranty dies, run the other way. But as bad as the Cybertruck is for repairs, the next truck is worse in a way that hits regular working people right where it hurts. Because this one pretends to be a real truck and isn't. At number 2, the full-size Chevrolet Silverado and its cousin, the GMC Sierra, when they come with that 2.7-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Read that again. A 4-cylinder in a full-size half-ton truck that can weigh over 5,000 pounds empty. And General Motors put it in as the base engine on trucks that still cost $40,000 and up. Here's why this one makes my blood boil and why they're sitting on lots. Buyers walk in expecting a V8, the thing that made the Silverado a legend. Instead, they get a little 4-banger working its guts out to move a big, heavy truck. And when a small engine has to strain that hard, day in and day out, it wears. I've seen these Turbo 4s come in with problems the old 5.3 V8 would have never given anybody. More heat, more stress, more strain on every part, and the real insult is the fuel economy. You'd think a 4-cylinder would sip gas, but when it's hauling all that weight or towing anything, it guzzles because it's working flat out just to keep up. So you get the durability worries of a strained small engine, and you don't even get the great mileage they promised. Meanwhile, the V8 trucks people actually want cost even more, and the whole lineup has crept up in price to where a nice Silverado is pushing $60,000 and $70,000. That's why they sit. The takeaway on number 2 is dead simple. If you're buying a full-size Chevy or GMC, spend the money and get a V8, or at minimum know exactly what that Turbo 4 is going to ask of you over 150,000 miles. Don't get talked into the base engine just to hit a monthly payment. You'll pay for it later, one way or another. Now here it is, the one I've held back this whole time, the number 1 truck nobody should be lining up for in 2026. And it comes from the exact brand every single one of you trusts the most. This is the one that got buried because admitting it would cost them everything. At number 1, the Toyota Tundra, specifically the trucks built for the 2022 and 2023 model years with that new twin turbocharged V35A 3.5 liter V6 engine. Now stop and think about what I just said. Toyota, the brand you buy because it's supposed to last forever, the brand your daddy told you never breaks. And here I am putting their flagship truck dead last. I know how that sounds, but this isn't my opinion. This came straight out of a Toyota recall, and the numbers are staggering. Here's what happened, and it's exactly the story I've been telling you all along. Toyota killed off the old bulletproof 5.7 liter V8, a truly legendary engine that ran forever, and replaced it with a complicated twin turbo V6 to chase those same fuel economy numbers everybody else is chasing. And that new engine had a problem baked in at the factory. Toyota issued a recall covering more than 100,000 vehicles, over 102,000 Tundra and Lexus vehicles because of machining debris left inside the engines during manufacturing. In plain English, tiny bits of metal got left in the engine from the factory. That debris circulates and can wipe out the main bearings, and the engine can knock, lose power, or just stop running entirely. The fix, Toyota's remedy in many cases, was replacing the entire engine, the whole motor, on a nearly new truck. Let that sink in. This is the brand with the golden reputation, and they had to replace complete engines on their newest, most expensive trucks because of a defect they built in. I've seen the shockwave of this firsthand. Guys who bought a Tundra thinking it was the safe choice, the reliable choice, staring at the same kind of engine failure I used to only see on the trucks everybody knew to avoid. And here's why this is the buried truth. Nobody wants to say it out loud because it breaks the spell. The whole reason people pay a premium for a Tundra, the whole reason it holds value, is the belief that it will never let you down. Admit the new engine has a serious defect and that belief cracks. So it stays quiet, tucked in recall paperwork most buyers never read. But I read it, and now you know it too. So here is exactly what to do with this. If you're shopping a used Tundra from those 2022 or 2023 model years, you get that vehicle identification number and you check the recall status before you hand over a dime, confirm whether the recall work was performed, and get the paperwork proving the engine was inspected or replaced. If the seller can't prove it, you walk. It's that simple. And if you already own one, call your Toyota dealer, give them your VIN, and make sure your truck has been checked. It costs you nothing, and it could save your engine. Now, don't misread me. Toyota is still one of the finest, most reliable brands on earth, and I'll say that till the day I die. That's exactly why this belongs at number 1, because when even Toyota falls into the small turbo engine trap that snared everybody else, it proves what I've been telling you the whole way down this list. The problem isn't one bad brand. The problem is an entire industry ripping out the simple, durable engines that lasted forever and replacing them with complicated, fragile ones to pass a government test and letting you carry the risk and the repair bills. That's the ranking. 10 trucks the market is rejecting, from the discontinued Titan all the way up to a Tundra with a factory defect in its heart. And every single one tells the same story. The trucks that last are the simple ones. The trucks that burn you are the ones stuffed with complexity to chase a number on a sticker. Here's what I want you to walk away feeling. You don't have to be the guy standing on that lot getting talked into a mistake anymore. You just got the honest order the real ranking, the one built from what I see roll into my bay, not from what somebody's paying to advertise. That's worth thousands of dollars to you, and it didn't cost you a penny. You're the kind of driver who wants the truth, not the sales pitch. If you weren't, you'd have clicked off 10 minutes ago. So you already know what to do next. You check the VIN, you get the service records, you pick the simple engine over the fancy one, and you never let a smiling salesman rush you. Now I want to hear from you. Which one did I get wrong? Are you a diehard Tundra man who thinks I'm crazy for putting it at number one? Or did you buy one of those twin turbo trucks and you're living the story I just told? Tell me in the comments right now. Tell me what you drive, tell me the mileage, and tell me where in the country you're watching from. I read them and I answer. And if you're the kind of driver who refuses to get burned again, come join the rest of us who feel the same way. This is a whole crowd of folks who'd rather hear the ugly truth for free than get a pretty lie with a payment book attached. Stick around, keep that oil change habit I gave you, and protect the truck you've got. Next time, I'm going to rank the used trucks I'd buy with my own money tomorrow, the ones that quietly run past 300,000 miles while everybody's distracted by the shiny new junk. And there's one engine on that list that I'd trust with my life. I'll see you there. Now, this video walked you through the countdown, but I couldn't fit it all here. Inside the Garage Bench Club, I pick up right where this left off with each truck's real repair cost. And you can ask me your own question about any truck, and I answer you myself, not some machine. You belong here with us. Just point your phone's camera at the code on screen, and you can cancel anytime. One click. Now that you know which trucks to skip, let me show you the smart side. There are 7 cheap pickups almost nobody buys, yet they'll outlast every shiny new truck out there. That one's starting right here.